Hello, and welcome back to another episode of It's Okay, Baby Girl. This week's episode is going to be short and sweet, but it's going to be a rant because it's been on my mind for a little bit and I just got to get it out. And I'm sure that many of you can relate if you're young and brown and of marriageable age. But anyways, I'm not going to talk about my personal life too much, but I will talk about the general concept of marriage and what I really don't like about the attitude that some of our parents or aunties, uncles have towards marriage. But yeah, anyways, let's just get into it.
Qu'est-ce que je vais te nommer? Je vais te nommer l'amour, l'amour tendre, l'amour qui chante doucement dans mon cœur, l'amour sans logique à la raison.
So let me start off by saying something before everybody gets their panties in a bunch about this, okay? I think marriage is a very beautiful thing. I desire it for myself one day, and I really do admire the people who are married and do a great job being loving towards their partners and being great parents. It's a very admirable thing, but it's also very important to know that not just anybody can just get married. It's, first of all, in this day and age, dating is very different. Harder to find a partner, to find a good partner, and to find a lasting marriage takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. And it requires two people who are willing to put in that effort and to really, be humble and strive to be the best versions of themselves. To me, I used to think that marriage, whatever, that's not for me. That was back in the day when I was in high school, okay? At some point, I wanted to be a nun, all right? So it was not really on my radar. But now, I know that life is not for me and that this is what I do want, but my concept of it has changed. I don't have like hatred towards marriage or relationships or people being in love. I love love. I love it. I love seeing people be happy and finding their person. It's beautiful to me. But I do find it annoying when we have a certain attitude towards marriage, that it is like the end all be all. It's what everybody got to do. And if you don't do it, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? You must be so lonely. I hate when people say shit like that because I'm like, dude, first of all, you don't know how a person feels. You might actually make them feel worse if they are already feeling that way, okay? But who knows? Maybe they might be living their best life and really enjoying being on their own. You don't know that. And it's not for you to decide how they feel. Because you don't know who they are as a person and how they actually feel about these things unless you ask. But also don't be mean about it. Like, it's kind of rude. You can't just say like, oh, it must be so lonely. What if they really enjoy being on their own? What if they've been in relationships and they just have not found a good match for them? Wouldn't you rather they be happy than be miserable with someone? I don't know. This is a very interesting concept to me because I think that marriage is so beautiful, and to find someone in a good marriage is very rare these days. That shit can get so sour so quickly, and it's very sad. But to me, the point of marriage is to find someone and you guys become the highest versions of yourselves together and pass it on, if you choose to have children, to those children who pass on that greatness. That is the whole point of marriage. To live a life in a partnership where you guys are building each other up and building up your future generations. That's the whole point. For me, you might think differently of it, and that's okay. That's up to you, how you decide how you want to approach that. But for me, that's what it means. But in order to become the highest version of yourself, that takes some humility, right? And in order to become the highest version of yourself, that means you have to already be trying to become that. It's not going to happen the moment you find your man or find your woman, and you're not going to just snap and become the best version of yourself. It's going to be painful, and it's going to take some work, and it's going to take letting go of your ego in order to achieve that. And what really bothers me is the fact that a lot of brown parents find that marriage, first of all, has to be a requirement. If you don't if you don't get married in this lifetime, you've missed out on something huge. The only reason that I would think somebody missed out on something huge is if they really wanted that and it never happened. But even then, you can still live a life full of fulfillment and beauty and joy and happiness and all the good things and not be married. You're not going to be miserable if you don't get married, okay? Whether you choose not to or you're not able to find the right person, you're not going to be miserable. There are so many pathways to a happy life. And just because you get married doesn't mean it's going to be a happy life either, all right? So keep that in mind. But a lot of people have this attitude that if I just get my kid married off, I did my job as a parent. Your kids should just be happy and healthy and able to care for themselves. That's your job as a parent. If they find someone they want to settle down with, great, bonus. But so long as they can at least take care of themselves, you should be happy that you did your job as a parent. But especially if you see that your kid is struggling, okay, I see this a lot in brown families, especially with their sons and their daughters, but especially with the sons. And I'm going to say it as it is. If you're offended, sorry. I'm not sorry. That's how you feel. I'm acknowledging that. Let's move on. But I see a lot of people who's like, okay, their son is struggling to, get stable and provide for himself and be a responsible young adult. And they're like, oh, maybe if he just got married, he would be better. He would at least be somebody else's problem. If he's not good on his own, how do you think he's gonna be as a husband? If he can't even take care of himself, how is he supposed to take care of somebody else's kid who he's now partners with in life? How is he going to take care of his own children? He can't even take care of himself. He can't be responsible. He doesn't want to do it. So why are you making it somebody else's problem now? That is his problem. When you become an adult, that kid is no longer your issue. What they do is their problem now. You're just there for support, but you've done what you need to do as a parent. If they choose not to listen, if they choose to make other poor choices, that is not your job to fix it or to make someone else's daughter or son fix their problems. That's not the point of marriage. They have to be ready for it themselves. I just want to say that because it really pisses me off when people are like, I wish that he would just get married. Why? So he can traumatize somebody else? Why? Or she. This applies to women as well. There are women who are definitely not in a state of mind where they can be a good partner or parent. And they need some time for themselves to get their shit together before that happens. And that's okay. I've had moments like that where I was not in the state of mind. I was not ready. I was not in a good place where I could be a good partner to somebody else. And that is okay. That is part of life, and at least being aware of that and acknowledging the issue, taking care of it, that's the best thing to do. But to ignore it and pretend like everything's fine and then go fuck up somebody else's life, not okay. Not okay. So I just wanted to say that for one. And then another thing, for the people who are, getting into their late 20s, early 30s, maybe you're in your late 30s, you still haven't found the person that you'd like to spend your life with. And your family is getting on you about it, because I know a lot of chichis and chetas and everybody who's freaking out now because they're like, oh my God, I'm getting older and it's still not happening. Can we just backpedal for a second and think about everything in your life that is a blessing right now? And how marriage would change any of that. It's okay to desire a connection with people, okay? We are made to be intimate and to be connected to other people. We're social creatures. It's okay to crave a relationship. If you're single and you want to be in a relationship, there's nothing wrong with that. But to think that that's going to change your life in such a dramatic way that, you'll never be miserable again. If you're miserable now, honey, it's not going to change much. Yeah, I might bring some joy into your life. But if you don't like other things about your life right now, it's not gonna change that just because you found a partner, spouse, etc., etc., etc. Okay? That comes from within. And just because, you're getting up there, you're getting older, and you need to find someone, settle down, ask yourself, is this pressure because of what other people are telling me? Or is this because I'm putting the pressure on myself? Is this because I really want it? Or is it because other people are making me feel like I should want it? Because there's a huge difference. And it's okay to want it. But also know that we don't have a lot of control over who we meet in our lifetime, how we meet them, and whether or not they're going to be there forever. And everyone's journey is different. We all have different lessons to learn. We have all different kinds of karma to go through before we get to our final destination and the things that we desire the most. You have to become a better version of yourself to achieve certain things. And life will give you ways of doing that. And it might not be the most pleasant experience, but you have to go through those things in order you to better yourself and be ready for those moments that you really want to happen. And just another reminder, again, would you rather just marry some person just to settle down and not know much about them, or not really be a good fit together and be stuck together with someone that you don't really like that much? Or wait and see what happens, see what life has to offer, and just kind of trust the process. Because you might not think you're going to meet that person, and I guarantee you, I believe this 100%. It always happens when you least expect it. When you're fully immersed in your own energy and you're just focusing on what brings you joy and happiness within yourself. It doesn't have anything to do with other people. It doesn't have anything to do with the relationship. Just pouring into yourself in the way that you need to feel alive and to feel authentic. That's when shit aligns, and it happens when you're ready for it, but you least expect it. That's when you're not paying attention, I'm telling you. And you got to realize, maybe there's other things standing in the way of you finding that person. Think about, maybe I need to approach this differently. Maybe I should take a break. Maybe I should look elsewhere. Maybe I should reevaluate, what might be going wrong, what might be going right, and why do I want this so badly? And is it okay that I take a little bit of time to figure this out? You would rather end up alone and happy than with the wrong person and miserable. I'm going to say that, and I stand by that shit. Because you are stuck with them. Nobody else is stuck with them, but you are. And yeah, divorce is an option, but who wants to do that? Who wants to go into that connection with the mindset of, yeah, I could just cut it off though. You'd rather really take your time and really pour into yourself and make sure you are full of joy and your cup is full, and find someone who is on that same level, the same wavelength as you, And it happens when you are surrounding yourself with that energy and putting yourself in places where you feel the most alive, because you will find people within that same space who share common interests and values. But there's no reason to be afraid. Your parents are going to freak out. Your aunts and uncles are going to be like, why didn't you find nobody yet? Guess what? They had the advantage of arranged marriage where people basically were just like, oh, here's this person. And if it was convenient enough, they'd be like, okay, cool. They didn't have to think much about it because they were so supported by their family back then. Now we are on our own. Again, there's a huge difference in the culture and where we grew up and how we view life. And also our careers are starting later. Our parents had the opportunity to buy houses in their mid 20s, and they had 3 kids by the age of 30. We're not there. I'm just getting started. And I don't think I'm going to be where my parents were at this age for some time. And that's okay. That's just how it is in this generation. So we have to be aware of that and just know that you're not missing out on anything, man. You are where you need to be. Okay? And nobody else needs to understand that but you. They can all flip out and worry about you. Let them lose some brain cells. Let their blood pressure skyrocket over this. It's fine. Okay? It's not your problem to make them feel better. But you should know what you want out of life, what you want out of relationships, what you want in a partner, and what you see yourself doing in life. If other people don't understand that, it is not your problem. And it is perfectly okay to disagree with that or want different things. Okay? But do not feel the pressure to go just find someone and settle down with the next bimbo just because everybody else is freaking out about what you're going to do. What you're going to do if you don't find that person is live a fucking beautiful life and add value and love into the world in your own unique way. Okay? That's what you're going to do. The whole purpose of us being here, in my opinion, is to love, to add love into the world. Okay? That's honestly what I think glues this universe together is love. As a Christian, people believe that God is love. I believe that. Love is the center of everything. So no matter what you do, as long as you're doing it with love, you're doing your job, you're fulfilling your destiny, your purpose on this planet. So if you're feeling down, and I'm sure, again, this is going to be another episode released during the holiday season, you're probably going to see your family a lot. And you're going to get a lot of questions about, have you settled down? Do you have anybody yet? Or especially the people who are, getting up there in age towards 30s, and you're struggling to date or meet people that, you're clicking with. Your parents might be like, they're so picky. They can't find anyone, la, la, la. Only you know what's standing in your way. Okay? Only you know what you truly want out of life. Okay? And it's okay to feel a type of way, to desire connection. But just know, again, your job is not to go get married just to make everybody feel okay and happy. That is not your job. Your job is to fulfill your purpose in life, no matter what circumstance you're in. Whether you're married or not, you have a purpose, okay? Whether you have kids or not, you have a purpose on this planet. And it is just as valuable as the next person, okay? We are all needed here. Each one of us is needed, no matter what our circumstances, what we have to offer, our job, our age, we're all needed. The world needs you, okay? And being married or being a parent does not add more value to you. You already have that. And if people make you feel that way, then block that shit out. That's not for you, boo, okay? This just boils my blood because I'm like, okay, I've already worked so hard to get to this point and to do something meaningful and purposeful with my life. And I really love where I'm at. But then when they remind me, they're like, oh, you need to settle down though. Dog, you think I'm not already working on that? You think it's not in the back of my head too? Yeah, I would love that. But also, I'm not going to force a timeline to happen when it's not time. I'm not just going to go and freaking put a ring on it tomorrow. That's okay. Like, I know what I got to do. And also, I know that a lot of this is out of my control. And I'm trusting in God or the universe, whatever you believe in. I am trusting that there is a plan here. And that as long as I am fulfilling my purpose in my day-to-day life, everything will align for me the way it needs to. All right. So just keep that in mind as you go through the holiday season. Don't feel bad if you're single. I know it can be a tough time. I can understand like wanting to, share those moments with the people who are close to you and have a partner to be able to experience those things with you. It's a beautiful experience, But just know that you don't have to go through that and feel alone. Yeah, it's okay to feel a little bit alone. That's very normal, actually. But don't let people get in your head when it comes to marriage. Like if you know you're not ready, that's all you need to know. If you know your partner is not ready and you're working on things, that's all you need to know. And that's between the two of you. If you know that that's not even what you want, that's okay. You need to work on yourself, that's fine. But as long as you know that and you don't let what other people say get in your head and mess up your flow, that's all that matters. At the end of the day, again, I will always say this, you are stuck with you. So make sure you pay attention to you. All right? Don't pay attention to whatever other people are thinking and saying. It's based on their own individual experience, which is very much so not like our experience growing up. So, they can only understand so much, and that's okay. Again, they say it out of, love, but it can be a little bit misplaced or not expressed properly, and it can come across the wrong way. But yeah, this is also a message for the aunties and uncles who be bothering their kids and their nieces and nephews about not being married. They're on a journey, and only God knows that, okay? So you don't need to freak out. Especially these religious aunties and uncles be freaking. But then I'm like, dog, don't you believe that God has a plan? Like, isn't that literally part of your belief system, is that God has a plan? So if that's the case, then stop tripping. Like, just live your life. Relax. It's okay. Because everything will happen according to plan. To the higher plan. Whatever you believe in. So, at the end of the day, a lot of this is out of our control. You can only do your part, but especially when it comes to relationships and marriage and things like that, family, it involves so many people that you can't be the only person to make something happen. It has to take the two of you or whoever else is involved to make something like that happen. And if you're feeling guilty for not Having been able to do that by now, you're not on anyone's clock but your own. So you're fine. Do not feel the need to speed up or slow down for the sake of others. You're on your own timeline. You know where you're headed. And if you don't, it's time to figure that out. And you can take your time with that because it will change too. You can have this whole plan and be like, let me get married by 25, have my first kid by 27, and move into my house and have my second kid by la la la, and then get a dog, and then la di da, and then this. You can have a plan, and then some shit will flip tomorrow, and then you're going to have to start over. So just know that for today, you live to fulfill your purpose today. All you got to worry about. In moments like this, when you're thinking about long term and freaking out about the future hasn't happened yet. It doesn't exist. It is literally a concept in your head. So if you're tweaking about shit like marriage, when you don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow or in the next hour, it doesn't exist. You know, you're freaking out about something that does not exist. It is not a reality. So you're stretching yourself out for no reason. Think about that for a sec. That includes the people who are stressing you out and stressing out with you, right? It doesn't exist. So why stress? You should worry about real problems that involve you today because they actually exist. They're real. They are real, and you can't avoid them. But the future is dependent on what's happening today. So if you're really so tweaked out about the future or your kid's future or your niece or nephew's future, and what they're going to do and who they're going to marry, just know that today matters. The person they are today matters because it affects who they are tomorrow and the day after and the day after that. The person they are becoming matters as well. If they're even changing at all. That all matters. So just focus on love at the end of the day. All right? This is what I want you to take into the holiday season. Whatever you believe in, whatever you celebrate. Just do it with love and focus on yourself. Okay? As long as you did stuff, everything that you do it with love. I actually had a therapist tell me that when I was having a really hard time. She said, Sneha, you're so full of love. And that's all you have to think about every day is, am I doing what I'm doing with love? That's all that matters. And it changed my life because actually Sneha in Malayalam, my language, means love. And it changed my perspective because when she said my purpose is love, I was like, it's literally in my name. And I should have realized this earlier, but it was right under my nose this whole time. And now every day when I think about what I got to be doing or when I panic about what I'm supposed to be doing or where I'm going to end up, I just got to think about, am I living today with love? Because love has no fear and love has freedom. So you got to let go and let it happen. And that has reminded me so many times to just trust. Because when I am living in my purpose, I am the happiest version of myself. And it doesn't matter who's in my life or who's not in my life. It does not matter if I'm getting married tomorrow, if I'm going to have kids at the right age. It doesn't matter if I'm going to buy a house on time. I'm doing what I got to do today with love. That's all that matters. I know where I'm going. I know I'm going to get there when I need to be there. And life has taught so many lessons about, I thought I was supposed to be a certain place at a certain time. Turns out I needed to be elsewhere because somebody else needed me or I needed them in that moment. And it all played out the way it needed to. So trust the process. If you haven't met your person yet and everybody's on your back, just know that that person or you probably not made to be there in that moment. And that's okay. There's some shit you're going to need to go through first before you get to that point. And some lessons you're going to need to learn. Some, challenges you might have to face or things you might have to change about yourself before you get to that point. But I promise you, when you are aligned with your purpose, everything else falls into place. And people don't have to understand that. Let them tweak. It's fine. But just know where you're at and focus on you. So yeah, anyways, that was a lot. But the point of this rant was just to show that yes, marriage is a very beautiful thing. Relationships are amazing. I love love, and I love when my friends and family end up finding their people, and um I love being in love too. Love it. But just know that there's a lot more to this than just settling down and having a family. There's a lot more to life than just that. And it's a very beautiful thing. It's much needed. We have to make the world, continue to exist. That's how we do it. But also just know that your life is full of purpose every day. You don't have to wait for that moment in life where you're finally settled down and you got your little kids running around that you've made it. You're making it today and every day that you choose to live with purpose. So don't forget that, okay? And I know that, our parents and our family members will make you feel very pressured, and it can be very nerve-wracking, especially around the holidays when you come home yet another year and you're like single, or you're not quite in the spot to get married yet. Don't worry about that shit, man. Just focus on enjoying the holidays, and again, do it with love. So anyways, with that being said, thank you again for coming back for another week, another episode. I really hope that this helps. I know the holidays can be tough with family. Everyone's situation's different, but I know I've had some awkward moments and some uncomfortable times. But I hope that if you keep this in mind, just let me know how it goes. If this is something you're struggling with, I would love to know how you're doing and if this advice helps at all. Because that's all I'm here for, is to help. And to also learn from you guys. And if you have any other perspective on this, I would love to know. But yeah, anyways, in the meantime, please follow on Instagram and TikTok. I'll leave it in the show notes below. You can always find me there. You can message me on Instagram. I'm so open to conversations. It really helps me kind of form, topics for future episodes. And thank you to everyone who's always supporting me and letting me know that it helps. And I really love you guys, and I really appreciate the feedback. So yeah, but anyways, with that being said, happy December, and I will talk to you guys next week. Goodbye.